As lockdown begins to wind down for most people, I wanted to talk about the future of Shotbow now that the peaks in the player base level out and the community returns to how it was before the global health crisis. I'm going to be very honest in this video, this isn't going to be positive, but hopefully it can be onboarded as constructive criticism. I think it's important to start with the bread and butter, what makes Shotbow tick, the staff team. Now, Shotbow has developed an interesting structure whereby being an admin has become a very prestigious role. The problem is that there is a fine line between pride and arrogance, and that has fed into total delusion amongst the team, as well as very limited transparency. Navarre nailed what it actually means to be an admin here, even though it was quite an extreme response to a mere congratulations. Regardless, being an admin is not a status symbol, and many staff need to realise this. There's also questions to be raised around whether the admins are even active in game anymore. Annie has about one staff member who actually plays the game consistently, so I'm not sure how they're going to fully understand what the network needs. And while I do have respect for Mystery, he didn't even know what a battle pass was in 2020, and he's the lead of a gaming network. One of the things that really annoys me is the constant reminder that the team is voluntary and that they deserve respect because they're doing this out of their own will. Yes, fair enough, it should be a compliment, but it genuinely just comes across as an excuse when nothing's getting done. I wanted to note the complete inability to accept criticism. This supports my point about the staff being deluded. Whenever a post is made with genuine, honest feedback, it is simply dismissed as either toxic or the volunteer excuse pops up. Ultimately, the thread is locked. Take responsibility for the issues, and rather than running away from them, address them. Finally, it's worth mentioning how the staff act as if they maintain their integrity to the highest degree, yet can blatantly lie about a very serious issue. I won't go into details, but many players will know a staff member was recently removed from the team over sensitive allegations, and rather than being honest about the problem, they chose to lie. I can see why this may have been appropriate in some aspects, but how are we supposed to trust the team at all? Now that we know about the issues within the staff team, we can begin to understand why some of the catastrophic decisions were made. If, for example, the move to 1.12 hadn't happened, the preferred version would have been kept, and the developers wouldn't have had a load of work to do on updating the base platform, rather than pushing out fun new updates. Players would have stayed, and it would have been a win-win situation. I asked Mystery why we can't go back, and he said because we use 1.12 blocks in builds, and the redstone has been reworked. Now to me, that doesn't sound irreversible, just putting that out there. Another poor decision, although it may have been justified at the time, was the removal of the EU host. I did ask for a specific demographic breakdown of the current player base, but was completely ignored. Either way, it's evident that EU and JP are propping up the server, the network is empty at peak times for US players. It may be worth moving to a Dallas host, which would be more centralised for everyone, and is where both High Life and Laser Tester live, so it may be helpful for them too, I don't know. I feel like the only thing keeping players interested in this is the fairly consistent updates. Unfortunately, these just patch over the underlying issues rather than addressing them head on. It's like continuing to build a house on weak foundations. Finally, I wanted to discuss the issues around funding. We would all love to know how much Shotbow has really made. Currently, they earn around $200 a day from looking at the Shouts channel in Shotbow Discord. I could speculate about the total. If just 2.5% of registered users spent $10, it would be around $300,000. Push it up to 5%, spending $25, and we have around 1.5 million. It could be more, it could be less. Only the leadership knows, but I'm sure they must have some money to motivate their devs a bit further. Some of the staff are already rightfully on payroll, and it would be nice to see others would get this incentive too. Hypixel developers get $100,000 a year, and sadly I remember a time when Shotbow rivaled the now largest network on Minecraft. Again, it almost seems like the leadership wants to reserve this excuse of the staff being voluntary in case they get criticised. This is all sad because Shotbow still has talented developers and great game modes. The problem with this all now is that it's just a big catch. The bad decisions can't be fixed because there's supposedly not enough funding, and there's not enough funding because of the poor decisions which deter players. Fundamentally, the issues aren't even acknowledged because the staff team are completely delusional. So to conclude, what does the future have in store? Well, for now, Shotbow will continue to bubble along, propped up by the Japanese community and some of the OG players who have too much money. The network really is in a muddle. Sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards, we will see. Hopefully this gives everyone something to mull over. Thank you for watching and best of luck to you all. One final thing I wanted to say is that I often see people complaining and they're told to leave if they're so unhappy. I find this pretty alarming because the people taking the time to make a post or video clearly care the most about the network.